in art and science both, there's this real concern with defining what's real versus what's a representation, right? What's illusion versus what's essential. And those are the very kinds of questions I want to sort of like pose and provoke, but then explore with some pleasure and joy, as opposed to this really clear discrimination. My motivation for this kind of work and what I do in general is more akin to these pre-science and pre-art ideas of natural history.
These objects are actually perfect for that discussion. Can you talk a little bit about what it is we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is a collection of objects, and as a collection, it's a combination of both what's found and what's made. There are rocks that I collected on a trip to Montserrat, Spain, but there's also like pieces of wood that I collected there, or pieces of litter and trash. Some of these things look a lot like other things, right? This rock was actually probably sitting next to this can when I discovered them together. Yeah, and collecting these rocks or the artificial rocks, like, here, the idea is that these are made also just out of everyday objects, right?
When you first see it, there's an assumption that it's about scientific classification. But you're making a larger point of the exhibition,
right,
which is about that all of these things actually are galactic material.
Yeah, that's right, that they're galactic material and that materiality matters. So here, the fact that, this can looks like this rock, but all the material of the can, as like iron or steel, is actually extracted from rock. And in rusting, this can's going back to becoming rock, and the color of the rust in both of them has to do with their shared materiality. So what's real versus what's representational is sometimes a red herring to the fact that things are also connected materially and also like genealogically, then in this whole deeper fashion to the whole idea of the galaxy itself or the universe.
Not only are you making the point that they're all connected by way of being material from the galaxy, but also the way in which you make that familiar by dealing with the same issue, but in a very personal context.
Right.
So why talk about what's personal to you when you're trying to explain something like the galaxy?
I'm very interested in this everyday engagement of materials and trying to put one's hand in it out of principle. And to me, that's like the true nature of sort of like first-hand experience and empiricism. And I feel like that's certainly a tendency that's embraced in both art and science, but I think it's been lost in this whole desire to have a sort of a cool observer distance from your object of engagement, rather than keeping these things at a distance, finding the intimacy and the kinship that's really a part of it. The work really is a lot about this question of scale, not just in space, but also in time. And how do you access those things that otherwise seem so inaccessible? And that gets to that question of the intimate. All of these things are kind of gestures to try to find some access to what otherwise seems like the inaccessible sublime of deep time or deep space.